After a few weeks of questionable play from Miami altogether, they finally dropped their first game of the season against Georgia Tech. How is this performance from Cam Ward going to affect his Heisman hopes as well as possibly impact his draft stock? Let's dive into the tape and talk about this game from Cam Ward from a holistic perspective. The one thing I am going to do is take out some of the RPOs, the quick hit stuff that is already organically in the offense, and talk about it structurally as a whole, because I think there are a couple of things that Miami did well, a couple things Miami did poorly, some things that Georgia Tech did very well in this game. So first of all, there's going to be quite a few structural problems with the offense at times, and I think Georgia Tech did a great job of amplifying those things. So right here, they're going to have Restrepo motion down, and he's just going to go up the field for his initial stem. And that's one thing I really want to focus on right here is the initial stem for all four of the receivers in the route is on a vertical trajectory. And what that does is it takes time for those plays to develop. So Restrepo is actually going to be the key read here if Ward would have been able to get to it. But as we saw, Georgia Tech does a great job of getting pressure right here. So right here on the snap, they bring down that safety who was lurking. It looked like he was going to be kind of motioning out to the motion of Restrepo down to the inside a little bit, but now he's going to come down here. And what he does, he kind of stays on the outside. So he's trying to blitz, take the identification from that offensive lineman, the tackle there, and bring open the inside right here. So this is exactly what they get. You have both of the center and the guard looking to the inside right here for Miami, and what that does is it creates a gigantic B gap with the blitzer off the right side who's going to stay in contained situation for Cam Ward. Running back coming into protection is going to just miss completely because his attention is focused on that safety coming down instead. So the edge just gets right by and into Cam Ward's face. Now he's going to do a good job of sidestepping as he always does, but this is another thing what we're talking about. Once you see pressure come in, he's now got to figure out where to go with the football, and since his footwork is all messed up now, he's trying to get back into his timing. Things get thrown off. So Georgia Tech did a really good job of mixing things up front structurally with their safeties moving, blitzing, and then here he's able to just kind of get the football out of the way, and just get it out, which he does multiple times in this game to be able to save not just a sack but a down in distance for them. So right here again, he's looking to Restrepo first, but now he's got to make sure with that pressure in his face that he gets out of the way, and he's sidestepping now, and his eyes initially go to the middle of the field. So credit Georgia Tech right here. And he wants to kind of come up this way, but then he's got pressure coming off of this side. So he has to kind of set himself, get back to the left. And then he's got pressure coming from the opposite side too. So he just kind of throws this over towards Restrepo's way. So really nice job from Georgia Tech mixing things up on the back end, bringing that safety, getting a free rusher from the edge underneath, and then it throws off the entire whack of the play because they want to go vertical, and that is a really key component in this offense, going vertical and having maybe some longer developing plays. Some of it's Cam Ward, some of it's the offense, but overall, I really do want to credit what Georgia Tech did, changing things up with the defensive line, simulating some pressures, getting after it, Ward in multiple different ways. And then a lot of times he did beat himself too. So right here, they are going to get exactly what they want. They motion the tight end from outward all the way down into the more of a reduced split, almost a detached tight end look. And they get what they're looking for. So you've got the tight end's going to come out to the flat. The outside receiver is going to come run inside and go to the corner, but they're running just spot routes here. So Restrepo comes over, the underneath or the opposite side receiver comes over as well, and they're getting spot routes at different areas of the middle of the field. And this is where Cam Ward just needs to trust it, because Restrepo comes open right here. He stops. He looks like he wants to maybe pump out to the right initially, which he probably could have hit his tight end right here. Maybe you get a first down. Maybe this player, DB, is able to flip his hips around and get into the tight end right there. But what you're really keying on right here is the opening over the middle of the field right here, where that wide receiver comes underneath of Restrepo and opens up the middle of the field. Right here, this is where Cam Ward is looking. He needs to trust this. This is fourth down. You got to have it. He's open on the spot route. Just throw it right now. Throw it right now. Throw it away from the DB. Throw it over here. Or it should be, from the middle of the field player, defender, and then just do it. Trust it. Instead, he comes up and out. There's defender in his face, and he's forced to kind of try to make something happen because he doesn't just throw the football. That's part of the predicament for Cam Ward right now. Is I think that he does a nice job of evading pressure, moving in the pocket. He does tend to drift backward, or he holds onto the football a little bit too long. Right here, see it, rip it right now. Throw this football right over the middle of the field this way towards that referee's side, because Restrepo is so good at adjusting on the fly right here. He knows where the defender is. If you throw him away from it, he's going to be able to catch this for a first down. So you got to be able to see this. One, you saw it, you know the play. He knows the play's there. He knows they've got opening over the middle of the field right there. You have to be able to rip that on fourth down. Trust that you have the arm to make it happen. So little minute these details that are consistently inept in the offense, sometimes in the pocket where he will hold the football too long, and then it makes him a little bit indecisive. So in this game, I think that, like I said, I already credited Georgia Tech for doing a really good job of changing things up schematically and playing off of what Duke did the previous week. In the second half of that football game, Duke did a really good job of bringing guys up to the offensive line, running creepers and dropping guys into coverage and really messing with how Cam Ward was seeing things happen. This is what I would have loved to see Cam Ward come away with, because there's going to be a rotation here. You can see this defender right here is communicating pre-snap on what's going to happen. He's actually telling this corner right here, you're going to come back to the safety, and they're going to have two deep, wide safeties on the play. And for Cam Ward, who loves to process things pre-snap and identify where they're going to be, he waits until the last second to snap the ball oftentimes because he's trying to get as much information as possible. That this should have been something that he saw, in my opinion, and you're going to get exactly what you're looking for in this situation. This to the tight end right here is going to just kind of leak open over the middle of the field. You got Restrepo coming out open late eventually here as well. And then you have a miscommunication on the outside, where initially I think that Cam Ward was expecting this outside receiver to go deep down the field, but then you're going to see, based on the rotation of the DBs right here, again, there's that communication. He's pointing out in different directions, saying you're going to cover underneath, and this is where you get him go back out. So pre-snap, it feels like he made a decision that this was going to go deep down the field outside the numbers to the outside receiver. Did not see that safety drop right here, but this is where you really should be looking, right here. Once you see that safety come down, that's where you need to see, and the adjustment on the route concept. You see the tight end over the middle of the field, and that's where, again, it should have gone. But he locked into that outside read, the initial pre-snap read, and then you get the defensive change, and that's where we see the miscommunication happen, where the wide receiver actually runs up underneath here and just kind of stops because he's maybe he's supposed to keep running regardless, get a one-on-one with the safety. But either way, this needs to be that post-snap process, right? That's the next step for Cam Ward. I think he's done a really good job of pre-snap identification, communicating pre-snap, maybe changing the play. He's got a ton of control in this offense, and they do run a ton of quick game RPO stuff to really, I think, get him settled and get the ball out quickly, because he will hold the football too often at times. And this one, just clear miscommunication where the football needs to go open to the middle of the field, tight end for a touchdown. And unfortunately for him, he's kind of already made up his mind pre-snap. Sometimes you need to be able to see what's happening post-snap and change based off of it. So again, Georgia Tech doing a good job of keeping Cam Ward under control and forcing him to make some poor decisions. This right here is structurally embedded in the offense. This type of play, I'm willing to bet a large sum of money that every time they have a go ball right here on either side of the formation, if they don't get a safety that is going to move with that initially, he is told to throw the football. This is part of the problem with their offense, in my opinion. Some of it's because Cam Ward's got a great deep ball. He's been very good with deep accuracy outside the numbers. The last, I would say, 3-4 games, closer to a month, it has been erratic to this point, but this is a low percentage throw no matter how you slice it, and you don't want to consistently be putting your wide receivers to have to make catches like this. And when you're going to play physical, and I think Georgia Tech played very physically with them, holding more at the top of the route, the referees were letting them get kind of physical at the top there. But right here, you have to come off of that and get underneath to the player streaking open the middle of the field. So pre-snap determinations back-to-back here, where based off of the movement of the safety or not movement of the safety in some regard, he's making judgments and throws that the offense asks of him. Again, this is, in my opinion, that's what it looks like consistently week in and week out. Yes, he has a gunslinger mentality. I also believe that he's being asked to make those throws on a regular basis in the structure of the offense itself. And I think part of that, when we talk about how often he does hold on to the football, he's got good escapability, good pocket movement. But right here, you need to be able to get up and get out of the pocket and not put yourself in a situation like this where you have to throw the football away. And this is where, there's nobody open immediately right away, right? That's fine. But maybe you can argue this layered throw here, but it's a tough throw to make. Make it easy on yourself. Come on right here. Draw in one of these defenders, right? Draw in some underneath players to get right here to be able to come after you, so then you can find and make it easy on yourself. So I think there are a lot of times where I would personally love to see him come out of the pocket, come up instead of out, but that's trying to figure out how he's asked to play this game right here. Right there, he should have been up and out, in my opinion. And then unfortunately, he's got to step back here and then throw the football away once again. Many times he was throwing the football away because of decisions that he made or how the defense was playing in this football game. So I really liked what Georgia Tech did overall. I'm not going to include the very last play of the game in this analysis because most people really watched that. They saw the guy was open, but when you're running around a ton and trying to make something happen at the end of the game where he should have been, I think, much better, then we all kind of saw that what happened there. So let's go to the flip side here. Because even though I think this may have been one of his worst performances, there's a ton of good things to take away from this. Like every kind of college quarterback, you're going to have moments that are good. You're going to have moments that are bad. Unfortunately, Miami was not able to overcome some of the bad offensive. And let's be honest, awful defensive performance in this game. But this anticipation throw is something that I think people really are asking more of Cam Ward to be more consistent. It doesn't happen very often. And a lot of times you're switching offenses to here. And he's got, 3 different offenses in the last 4 years in college. So he's being asked, maybe even 4. I'm not sure exactly. But he's being asked to grow as a quarterback, learning new systems. This is just a really fun timing concept because you're going to have Restrepo come around and he's going to go up the field on that left-hand side. And this receiver is basically just running across the face of the seam route here. So you have 2 players almost running into each other. And Cam Ward is just like, fine, you guys are going to see a little bit of defensive snap here when they move back, right? So this safety's coming back and they've got the motion man knowing he has to come around as well. They are playing off coverage here. And this is just a really good understanding of seeing what the defense is doing and throwing this football exactly where it needs to be, behind enough so the receiver can get it, but not in front enough that this DB or this player right here, this defender, can pick it off. So that's fantastic ball placement and anticipation to see that play coming on the very first play of the game. So all in all, like that play is not going to be, I think, made all the time for Cam Ward, but it's a glimpse into what he can make when he sees the defense properly and trusts it, right? We saw that 4th down play where he didn't trust it, where you got to see it, and then you got to see it develop. And on that 4th down, you got to have it play what we watched earlier. He didn't see it, he didn't trust it, he did see it and he didn't trust it. Right there, he saw it, he trusted, he threw it where it needed to be. Very good play right there. And this is another one of those throw the deep ball because of the structure, and this one was a good read by Cam Ward. Again, a lot of times he was making the proper reads and the proper throws in this football game. He wasn't as accurate as you'd like him to be. I think we saw him spray the ball multiple times, and I think that comes with a lot of the pressure that's being put on Cam Ward. He is still, I think, a very good thrower of the football down the field, accuracy-wise in totality, but some of the last couple of games in the microcosm of what defenses are doing and how so much of the offense is being asked to run through him and he's having to overcome bad defensive performances. Sometimes you just kind of don't have it in these games. And I think the last couple of weeks, the erratic nature of, honestly, the erratic nature of his arm. Like, he's very good. He got great arm strength. This one just placed a little bit too far out. It's the right read. Again, he notices that safety not coming across with them initially, so he takes the slot fade. It's a good decision. It's not a terrible location throw, but it is what it is. The receiver's just not able to run underneath that. And right there, you kind of see him communicating to them pre-snap, like cross. There's going to be a little bit of a cross release pattern, right? So he's going to come up a little bit into the inside, and they're going to cross right there, come up underneath. So then that was not a hitch. My apologies. It was an in route, but still nice. adjustment. He's very good pre-snap communicating, where he sees what's going on and then he makes that last final ditch effort right there, where he tells him, look, cross right there, try to get one of these guys open, and he gets that fade route wide open and just misses the throw. So get right out of the reach of the wide receiver. So decision process is there. I think seeing the defense, again, when they rotate, that's something that's going to have to continue to get better with time. And we've seen it in the NFL where guys that come into the league, they don't see a ton of defenses. So 5-6 years into the league, they're like finally starting to see how the defenses change. So we can ask as much as we want to of these young quarterbacks. The realistic nature is once they get into the NFL, it's going to take them more time and just more reps and more snaps to be able to always see those changes, regardless of how they play under center or in the shotgun. So all in all, just he's done a better job, I think, of not putting the football in harm's way. And again, showing you the arm strength to throw the football down or outside the numbers. This is a really difficult throw for a lot of quarterbacks to make, and he makes it look very effortless. And I love about this, he's basically kind of replacing the blitz, where he's going to throw away from it. They're going to come down here and they're going to blitz on the opposite end, to his right. So that linebacker is going to blitz. He's coming out here. That safety is blitzing too. So he's going to throw it away from the blitz right there. I guess that's not really replacing the blitz, but identifying you've got man coverage basically with that blitz coming off the right-hand side. He reads to the left and then puts this on the money to his receiver with a little bit of anticipation right there. So he's throwing this out route just off of right there. So you're going to see that receiver get into that break. And as soon as the receiver puts his foot in the dirt to get to the out, this is where the ball comes out. So right there, he's not even out of his break yet. This is, again, going towards that part of the anticipation where he knows it's going to be open. The DB has got outside leverage. He can't get to the football spot where he wants to throw it. And then he stands in there, takes a hit, and makes the throw. That's what you want. That's what you need from Cam Ward, right? You got you got an offense that is designed to your strengths. Again, we got more pre-snap communication there. I love what he does pre-snap, honestly. I don't think it gets enough credit where he's changing plays to the line, where he's calling different protections, where he's changing the routes, based off of that too. So just all the different things that he does pre-snap, I don't believe gets enough attention from a lot of people, and it gets dismissed because at times his ability to hold onto the football or his erratic nature from an accuracy standpoint to spray the football, where we saw a few times in this game, can be overwhelming. But from a mental standpoint, I think he's really grown this season. You saw, again, right there, making a good decision, understanding he's got pressure coming off his right-hand side, throw that football with a little more anticipation. He does, and he puts it on the money. This is another one where it's a great throw from a really good designed play as well, where they want to get that drag over the middle of the field. They've got multiple crossing routes. You have a stack formation at the top of your screen. So this top receiver in the stack is going to be running that dig route over the middle of the field. The underneath player is running the over on the drag route, and the receiver out here is running the under on that drag route. And then you've also got both of these quote-unquote running backs in the pony personnel. You got a tight end and a running back in the backfield, but you have the running back release to the B gap and come out to this side, and then you have the tight end also release and out that way. So you've got a lot of meshing combination here with the running back coming out and going to the opposite side, and then, back to his previous side with the tight end coming to the opposite side. And then you have the dig route, right, where he reads it out and sees it through. So again, you've got guys pressured up here. They're going to drop one of them out. They still are looking for simulated pressures. Right here does a nice job of staying in the pocket, stepping up with all this motion, layering it behind those defenders, and then it gets dropped. Good play by the DB to break it up, but this is what you want from Cam Ward, who is going to stand in the pocket and try to win from the pocket, where he does a very good job right here. Again, reading what he's seeing defensively, but also understanding that, okay, they're going to drop coverage right here. Linebacker comes out. You got some droppers. Again, number 0 drops out. That linebacker drops out, so he's reading the middle of the field right here. He knows he's going to have that eventually. If he can just sit there and wait for it, puts it right behind that DB that's coming across the field, and it gets dropped. So that's high-level quarterback play. It is, because you know that's coming open. You know that you're going to be able to stand in the pocket right here, kind of leak up to the left a little bit, give yourself a really good window to throw the football, and it gets dropped. It's tough to see that happen. But all the time when we see the offense for him, again, have to run through Cam Ward, and whether it's buying time, whether it's kind of making little micro movements in the pocket, or again, sometimes it's holding the football too long but still making it happen. This right here is an example of that, where he's looking outside first, And I'd love to see him get off of that because Restrepo's over the middle of the field wide open. You could have gotten him a good catch right here 4 yards after the catch. But, his attention initially, again, it's to the outside. First, you got to see this DB right here, over him. You have to come off of that a little quicker. And then you got the underneath player too, right? So I think he was expecting this, but not expecting this. So his eyes are like, I want to throw that out route, but he has to hitch and come back to it. So you'd like to see that underneath defender coming into his vision a little bit quicker and then get off of it to be able to come over here on Restrepo. But this is where I think that they make a really good pair, because as Restrepo's coming open over the middle of the field, he knows that the eyes right there from Ward are not on him. So he's looking to see if he can keep running, if he has to make a route adjustment through that route. And this is where you see, again, just that communication. They're both going to be looking at each other right here. So now he's in the middle of the field and Restrepo's not looking. So he's looking right. You got eyes looking this way. So this is where Cam Ward is going to feel a little bit of pressure coming off of his right. He's going to just kind of move to the left, and then he's going to get out, not run, but just give himself enough time to put this throw away from the sideline and then let him adjust to the football. A lot of trust in Xavier Restrepo, one of the most underrated receivers in this draft class, in my opinion. He's going to be a day 2 player, and that's something that you have to be able to put in, all right? Just trust him to make a play when you've got to have it. So then the last thing we're going to talk about is this, again, outside the numbers throw from the pocket. Really, a really good route from the receiver, but this is why he's going to be such a fascinating player to watch in this draft class where he ends up going. I don't believe that this performance is going to really hinder his draft stock. I think it's more going to impact his Heisman stock because, yes, he's still putting up numbers. He's still throwing touchdowns. They lost the football game, and you still see Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter contributing at the high level that they are. And quarterbacks, when you have performances like this, when it's all up to you, and then I think people are going to really be keying in on the opportunity to win that football game, to go down and score, and then he fumbles. Ball security, moving around is not his strength either. So right here, this is just a fantastic, read, react, throw, catch over the shoulder from the receiver. But he does these things on an every week basis. He makes these high-level throws, these NFL throws on an every week basis. I would love to see him under center a little bit more, but it is exclusively shotgun, as most of these college offenses are. So in the grand scheme, I don't believe that Cam Ward's performance is going to inhibit or do a ton to his draft stock, but you can see where there are areas that he needs to grow. I think this back-to-back weeks showing Duke and now Georgia Tech, giving him different looks on defense and changing things post-snap will only help him grow as a player, but you also see some of the reasons why coming into the year he was so highly kind of touted for Miami, and how the talk for him this season has been that he's been so good because he has grown as that pre-snap communicator, operator, changing the play and then making some of these high-level throws. It's got to tweak some of it. So I still believe he's a first-round quarterback. There's really only 2 for me, and Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Which one goes first? I'm going to be excited to find out. Please, if you guys are new to the TDN YouTube page, hit that sub button right now. Hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.